You snooze, you lose. Johnny, we're gonna get started.
Coming.
Oh, you were listening the whole time.
Sorry, I'm just sorting my stuff out quickly.
No problem. So what I'll do is I'll mute you guys in a bit, or actually if you guys can mute yourselves even better, just so that the sound doesn't go skewed. And then I'll have the chatting at the end. We'll start in the end as well. I can mute Johnny for him. And then anyone else who comes in, hopefully it's gonna say mute upon entry. Mute. Participants, mute upon entry, done. All right, cool. So as you know, we're gonna go into hips, hamstrings, and spine today. So what I've done is I started off by just breaking the spine down. So I'll talk as we go just so we can get as much done as possible. So the spinal health is super, super important when it comes to our hamstring length as well. So when you think about where the hamstrings actually attach, they come all the way back into the lower back as well. So when we actually have lower back issues, and I know Dean at home is very, very stiff, not only will we feel lower back issues like lower back tightness, but a lot of it comes from the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads, all of the above as well. So we're gonna start off just with a cat-cow, but I'm gonna break it into lower spine and then upper spine, and then we link it all together, okay? So from here, we're gonna stay in a collapsed quadruped base. So you're sitting down on your bum, your hands are on the floor here, and all we're looking to do is try to move the upper spine without curling into the lower part here, okay? So I want you to try and arch your back as much as you can and then tighten up your belly. Yeah. Then from here, so sit back onto your heels, that's it. And then from here, we're just gonna tuck the chin into the chest, push away from the floor and try to round the upper back as much as you can without curling the lower spine though. So it's a very, very small movement. That's all you want to get to. That's it, hold. And then as you come back out, you start to puff the chest forward, pull the shoulder blades back, come all the way up into your extension. And again, you haven't changed your lower spine. We're just going to do that 3 times. Tuck the chin under, push into the floor, round, 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 hold. And then again, slowly squeeze the shoulder blades, puff the chest, look up. Good. One more time like that. Tuck the chin under, round, push into the floor. Again, you're thinking only of the chest, the breastbone moving. And then again, draw it back in and all the way out and back in. Good. So now from there, we're going to move into the lower spine. Hands come onto the floor. You're going to lift your bum up over your hip. So your hips are over your knees now. And we're looking to just clasp the hands and place your forehead onto the top of the hands. This way, we're looking to move just the lumbar part of your spine here. You can keep your toes pointed or they can be flexed, whatever you prefer. If you want more stability, you keep your toes tucked under. So from here, we're going to think of the pelvic movement, okay? So I want you to try and arch your back as much as you can, like you're trying to pull your butt bones up towards the sky as much as you can, hold. And then as you come back out, you draw your belly into your spine, curl your tailbone under, scoop, 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 until you can no longer go. So you feel your stomach contracting. It's like you want to make a C-shaped position with your spine. Then from there, you're going to slowly untuck again. Start to push the butt bones up towards the sky again, arch as much as you can. As you're in this position, think of the lower back muscles pulling to make this shape. And then from there, start to draw the belly in, curling under, round, round, round. Last one from here, start to untuck. Again, it's only a small movement, but I want you to feel the sensations of your butt bones pulling up towards the sky because this is important when it comes to stretching our hamstrings later. Really pull as much as you can, hold. And then from there, scoop the tailbone, squeeze your bum as you draw your belly into your spine, round, 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 round. And good, come back into neutral. From here, we're gonna link it all back together now. So hands come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. This is where we come into our full cat-cow. So we start off again, tuck the tailbone under, scoop the belly, start to look at your spine. I want you to picture your spine moving segment by segment, individual vertebrae at a time. Then from here, we're gonna start from the tailbone first. Tailbone starts to arch. Your belly starts to drop down. You start to pop your chest down, 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 all the way until your head starts to come up. And as you're at the top of the cow position here, you're looking forward, you're pulling your shoulder blades down so you're not arching or shrugging. Good. And then from here, start from your head, tuck the chin in, start to push through the floor, keep your lower back arch, but now you're trying to round the upper back first. And then you bring your lower spine into it, curl,
suck in, suck in, suck in, hold. Then from there, tailbone first, untuck the tailbone. Again, every single individual segment moving bit by bit. Start to drop the belly down, pull the chest forward, looking up, pull the shoulders down and back, looking up towards the top corner of your room. Then from there, chin tucks in, just 3 of these. Push into the floor. Keep your lower back arching as much as you can while you puff your upper back, rounding, rounding, suck the belly in, curl under, and hold. One last one here. You move with intent, tailbone first. Feel the muscles working to create the movement as opposed to just dumping your spine into different positions. And good. Now, as you're in your cow position, we're going to tuck the toes under. Keeping the toes tucked under, we're going to walk the hands forward by 2 inches, spreading your fingertips apart. We're going to link this up with a downward dog now. So in order to come into your down dog, you just lift the knees up, push your hips back first, stretch your fingertips and your arms, and then you extend your legs up. So the first thing you want in your downward facing dog, don't worry about your heels dropping down, especially if you have tight hamstrings. We want to think of bending the knees as much as we can to lift our hips up and back so that our shoulders can form a straight line from our hips all the way down towards our fingertips. So there's like the shoulders are like the middle part of the line here. Good. Then from here, once you're at your edge, you can start to straighten one leg out, maybe stretch out the other leg as well. Can you stay where you can to find the first stretch of the day? Our assessment today is going to be a seated forward fold. So this may not be a cold test, but we're going to move through our spinal mobility before we get into our assessment. So from here, we're going to come into our tiptoes, lift your heels up nice and high. And then we're going to scoop the tailbone under. So the first thing you want to do, again, the exact same spinal movement we did just now, but now we're linking up the legs and the arms. So you suck your belly in, you imagine a giant barrel underneath the belly, and you're slowly looking at your belly button as you travel forward. Hold this position, you're rounding so much. And then you come into a plank position, but it's a hollow body plank. Not so far yet, Jenny. Call me Jenny. Good. Now drop your knees down, squeeze your bum, pull the chest forward, keep the toes where they are, and then we start to pull the shoulders back. Now you can look further back. Then from here, tuck the chin back down, push into the floor, round your shoulder blades as much as you can. Now draw the belly in. Think of that's the cat position that we did earlier. So we find our cat first before we lift the knees up, and then you push your bum up to the sky again. Heels drop down. Once again, lift onto your tiptoes, round over. Hollow your belly over that giant beach ball. Come into your plank. Knees drop down, squeeze the bum. You just continue to kind of connect all the movements together. Squeeze your bum, pull back, shoulders back, look up towards the sky. Tuck the chin under. That's it, Johnny, good. Round the back, maybe move a little slower than that, and all the way back up and over. Just one last one like this, up on your tiptoes, rounding over, all the way, all the way, all the way. Then again, knees drop down, squeeze your bum, pull your chest through, look all the way up. And then again, chin tucks down, round under, and push all the way back into your downward facing dog. Now, at this point, you should be a little bit warmer. So you can pedal the feet out 1 or 2 more times. We've just got one more to do with our spinal mobility before we delve into the hamstrings. So last one from here, tiptoes lift. We go into the full down dog to up dog this time. Your toes are gonna stay tucked under the entire time. Curl the spine under, round. You start to go forward. You find your plank. Now your hips come down, you keep the hollow belly. As your hips come down, your chest puffs forward and your shoulders roll back. And now you're looking up towards the sky. Good. Welcome, JP. Then from there, tuck the chin back under. Oh no, you're gonna have to mute yourself. Roll back up and over into your downward facing dog. Good. And then again, up and over into your plank. Drop your hips down. Looking up, pull the shoulders back. And then again, roll back, up and over. And into your downward facing dog. We're gonna go through 5 reps like that. I'm just gonna quickly mute JP because he did not. Keep going for 1, 2, 3, I've muted him, 4, 5 into your upward facing dog. Good, and then again, tuck the chin back down, rolling up and over, back into your downward facing dog. 2 more up, roll over, round, come down. Make sure you're squeezing the bum. That's to protect the lower spine. And up. And then again, chin tucks down.
Round back in, up and over, all the way back into your downward facing dog again. So pedaling your feet one by one. Our first assessment is going to be a standing forward fold. So we're going to bend the knees, just walk your feet all the way in towards the middle of your mat. And I want you to keep your legs bent here because I want your belly to touch your thighs. Okay. So once you're at this position here, you keep your hands flat on the ground now. So look into the camera so you can see your own image on the screen here. And when you're doing this one, I want you to try and see how far you can pull your hips up without letting the belly come off the thighs. So it's actually about keeping everything flat on the floor. Now, Johnny, for you, if you're really, really tight, same for JP, maybe put your hands on blocks first. So then from here, you can keep everything on, or just keep your fingertips only. They don't have to be flat. Just find some kind of a prop. And then from here, as we start to straighten, we're gonna start to pull the bum up towards the sky. So as you pull your bum up towards the sky, one day you have your legs straight maybe, but it's about the point of contact on your belly, on your thighs, as opposed to coming into this position here. Good. So we're gonna stay there just for 5 breaths, pulling your hips up even higher for 5, maybe roll more weight into your toes for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Good. From there, we're gonna slowly come up to the halfway point. So as you're at the halfway point, I want you to lengthen your spine forward. If you've got really tight hamstrings here, this is where you start to actually lift up higher. Keep your legs as straight as you can. And again, looking into the camera if you can, lean your hips forwards, keep your body upright. Yep, I want you to keep a really, really nice straight spine here. Now push your butt bone back as far as you can go. Good. Now call, lean more forward. Mom, lean more forward as well. Nice. And then from here, we're just going to slowly let our arms release. This is your halfway lift. So if you look now, your arms are directly underneath your shoulders. If you can go further without bending your knees or rounding your spine here, start to go down. Good. And then you keep your legs straight and you fold as much as you can, trying to drop your head down one more time for another 3 breaths, keeping everything folding heavy. You can hold on to the opposite elbow if you want. And then just pull your torso down a little bit more for 3, for 2. Hi, Johnny, welcome back. And 1. And good. Bend your knees, slowly roll on up. And then just come into a standing position. Just shake the legs out. Nice. So you should be a little bit more warm here. The standing forward fold will be a variation that we do. And we're going to look at the seated forward fold as well later. So we'll start out here so you can try it out first. If you have tight hamstrings, this is a nicer one for you to try out. So as your legs are out in front of you, the same body of position applies here. So all we want to do is bend the knees first and pull the body down onto the thighs. When you can grab a hold of your feet here, this is where you start to just walk the feet back. You stop at the point where you can no longer keep it. So for some of us, it might be here, okay? But you pull your body down. If you can go further, you start to pull onto your legs as you pull your body down. And this is where you start to feel more of a hamstring and lower back stretch, okay? So everyone's just gonna hold this here. Go to your maximum point. Now call for you. You need to flatten your chest a little bit more by pushing your chest forward and then flatten your back. So pull the shoulder blades down, yeah. So this is a good indicator for me to see whether it's your hamstrings are tight or if it's your lower back that's actually limiting you. Because in the standing forward fold, some of you guys could come down lower. And in this position, your back is starting to round more. So it actually goes to show that your lower back is actually a lot tighter than your hamstrings are. Johnny, your back is actually just as tight as your hamstrings. So from here, we're gonna look to pull your elbows out wide. Big toes point through the middle. And then now you're gonna pull your body down as much as you can. So use the forces of your arms pulling into your legs as you lengthen your spine forwards and you pull your hips back towards the back wall for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go, just fold over. And then tuck the chin in, round, back all the way up. Okay, warm up is over. We're gonna move on into our hamstring portion now. So we're gonna stay seated for this one. We're gonna bend the left leg. This is our figure 4 base. If you've got really, really tight hamstrings, once again, sit on a block or a pillow maybe, just to elevate your hips. But if not, you can try seated flat on the ground. When we're here, we're gonna turn the hips forward, and the target now is to keep our chest and our torso square to the straight leg, okay? So everything here,
I need to turn to face this way, meaning I'm actually gonna bring my left hand forward and my right arm behind and sit as tall as I can. When I do my hamstring stretches, it's actually more about keeping the lower back flat, which is why I always say lead with the belly as opposed to leading with the chest. Because if you're leading with your chest all the time, this is what tends to happen. You might get a lower back stretch, but you're actually not really pulling as much as you can through the hamstring, okay? So from here now, we're gonna hold the first stretch for a minute. We're gonna reach the left arm forward to the outside of the foot, or if you cannot, just outside of the right knee, maybe the right shin. The right hand comes behind. You pull your body so much to the right so that your right chest is going over towards the edge of the mat. And then we're gonna start to pull the body down. I want you to find your edge here. So you're finding the deepest point of the hamstring stretch here. You need to pull your body down while you keep a nice long spine. Chest stays lifted for 1 minute, okay? Now, today's work is gonna be pretty brutal in that we have to apply effort to it in order to develop more length, okay? So I'll explain what pales and rails are now as we hold the stretch. When I say pales contraction, in very simple terms, it's just about activating the hamstring. So we're contracting the hamstrings. So in this instance here, it'll be us driving the heel down to try and think of hamstring curling your leg in, okay? That's your pales contraction. The rails contraction is about lengthening the tissues. It's the regressive angle of the work that we're doing. So when I say rails, it's actually thinking about pulling your torso down towards your leg without using your hands later. Because when we do this, it's no arms, okay? So we're gonna hold here for another 20 seconds, and then we're gonna go into our pales contraction. When we start going into it, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna say try and contract at a certain percentage. So I'm gonna say drive your heel down into the floor, you bend your knee slightly, and then you can think of pulling your heel in towards your bum. When we start at 50%, that means 50% of your maximal contraction. I don't want you to go into full pelt straight away, okay? So we're gonna start at 50% now. Keep your body down there, but now pull back a little bit. So you keep only your fingertips on the ground. That's it. Now, as your fingertips are on the ground, don't worry about turning so much anymore. Just keep it flat on the outsides of the leg. You're gonna bend your right knee just a little bit, and now we're gonna access the right leg, okay? So I'm gonna take my hands away just so you can see it better. When I drive down, now we're gonna drive down at 50%. Push your heel bone down into the floor at 50%. So you wanna try and find your hamstring here. Bend your knee as much as you need to find it. You don't lock your knee out in this one. Good, and then from there, start to build up to 60%. So drive your heel down 60%, up the ante and make it a little bit more intense. Go up to 70%. We're gonna go up to build up towards 100%. So when you start to go at 100%, your legs should shake, okay? Push down up at 80%. Now push your heel down. Feel your hamstring working, a little bit more. Keep your torso nice and long. Good, 90%. Push, 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 push. Feel your legs shaking. And now in your greatest, safest range, push at 100%. Like you wanna drive a hole down into the ground and go for 10 seconds. Push as hard as you can now for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. If your hamstrings cramp, it's normal. 5, mine's about to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let it go just a little bit. Rails contraction. You pull your torso forward, pull your hip back as you pull your head towards your heels. Pull down, pull down, pull down. So lengthen as much as you can. Pull your right hip back. Now pull for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Just stay in the stretch. See how much lower you've gone. Stay right there. You can stay holding onto the foot if you need to for another 3, 2, 1, and then good. So now you stay there. You don't come out of it. We found our new range. We're going to do this 3 times on this side. So in your deeper range now, I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see it from front on as well. So as you're in your deeper range now, I'm still staying over the leg. I'm going to drive down with my heel again. We're going to start at 60% this time. So as you drive down through your heel, feel your hamstring fire up. Go up to 70%. Go up to 80%. So I know I can't see whether or not you're applying the pressure. You should feel it. 80%, now 90%. Make that leg shake. Good. And up to 100%. Now drive down as hard as you can for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails contraction straight away. Stay where you are, but pull your right hip back. Pull your body down. Try and deepen the stretch now. Go down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Go a little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold it right there.
Pull yourself lower. Maybe straighten your leg out if you haven't already. Keep yourself down there. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One last one now. So keep it in your newfound length once again. Now we start to drive down. If your leg is straight, you drive down with a straight leg. Push down, go. Starting at 70% this time, we're going to go up a little bit more. 80%, stay folded. 90% and 100%. Go as hard as you can. 10. Try and hamstring curl. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction. Think of pulling your right hip bone back. Lengthen the tissues a little bit more for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just relax into it. Let your body fold over. Find that stretch. Now take a look at where you are compared to where you started. Maybe it doesn't seem like much, but maybe you're going a little further forward. And get from there, we're going to slowly roll on up. And then we're going to change to the other side. So gently come out of that. Notice the length difference across the sides. Just take a moment to shake it out. It's pretty brutal to come out of a Pales rails. This is just a gentler version of doing it. So we're not really getting big cramps, but you should feel the stretch deepen a lot more there. So we're going to change directly to the other side. If you need to move around to let your spine loosen up as well, feel free to do a couple of upward dogs, maybe child's pose. And then we're going to bring ourselves over to the other side. So now we're going to bring the right foot onto the inside of the left leg now, and we're going to work the left side. So we start off with that 1 minute hold. Left hand onto the outside. Right hand, again, try to come to the outside of the foot, maybe the outside of the shin. Just learn to square your body up when you're doing stretches. So when we square the body up as much as we can here, we start to deepen the stretch. I'm going to pull onto the outside of my foot here, but remember you're pulling your torso down, not your upper back. You're pulling your belly down. Good. So once you're there, you start to pull, use the strength of the right arm. Sometimes even in this position, if you pull hard enough with the right arm, you'll feel your right lower back stretch as well. It's just stretching out your QL, which is quite nice. So start to pull down. Let the breath pull you down as well, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. As you slow your breath down while you're in this, you just prepare yourself for kind of like the time where you turn up the heat. When you're doing your hamstring stretches, again, sometimes it feels like you might stretch every single day or you try to, and yet the length never changes. A lot of the time we forget that we need to have that input going into it, and that input is force. And that's not saying that I pull your leg over your head when it's not allowed to do that. You have to send those signals so that your brain can actually start to, it's all about the nervous system. So your nervous system constricts to protect the body so that it doesn't injure itself. But a lot of the time that nervous system actually seizes up so much more. So it contracts everything so that you can't actually access it, which is why we feel that tightness. There's actually no such thing as muscles being tight, because if we were dead bodies and you were to cut our bodies open without an active nervous system, we would actually be limp and your leg could go over your head, because structurally your muscles are fine. But because our nervous system is acting as a protective mechanism, that's why we can't really do so much sometimes. So it's just it's an interesting way to actually think of how the body operates sometimes. I just like to give you a little food for thought there, even though I know it's muted, so you can't talk to me. But anyway, we're going to move on to the Pales rails now. So we're going to bend that left knee just a little bit, and you can move your hands to outside the foot again. So you find your end range. If you are up here, totally fine. Stay up here, bend the knee slightly. Remember, when you bend your knee, this is how you can better access your hamstring. It's like when you think of pulling your knee in, you're using this muscle to contract to cause this movement. So if you're not bending your knee, it's actually harder for you to find it. So even if you can straighten your leg, especially for hypermobile people, keep the knee bent to access the hamstrings here. So from here, fingertips are on the floor. We're going to drive the heel down. I'm going to drive down, try to fire up the backside of the hamstring now. We're going to go up 50%. So Johnny, Mom, and Call, stretch your spine longer. Think of lifting your chest up higher. Yeah. Now drive down at 60%. Think you're in a pile of sand and you want to dig the sand to pull your heel towards you. Good. Go into 80% now. Drive down, drive down, drive down. Good. 90%, even harder. Pull, pull, pull. And then go up to your greatest, safest range. Go at 100%. Pull for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Some of you don't look like you're struggling. Pull harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now think of pulling your hip back and pull your torso down. So it's like you want to go further into the stretch. Go down for 10 seconds. Pull your body down, Johnny. Good. Belly to thigh. 9. Go lower. Call. You can do it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold on to the foot and go down deeper into the stretch. Hold that there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. From here, you found your newfound length. We bend the knee just a little bit again. Maybe it's deeper than the last time. Drive your heel down, going into 70% now. Drive down at 70%. Push down. Find your hamstrings. Go up to 80%. Really, really get that firing up. You want to feel it working, not just stretching. 80% and now 90%. Go harder. Find a shake. The heel wants to pull in, but it's not going to move. It's glued to the ground. Good. And now go at 100%. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, stay where you are, but pull your hip back. Think of driving your entire body down lower. That's it, Johnny. Go, go, go. 10, 9, 8. Go down lower, Amelia. 7, 6, 5. More. Call. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find your heel. Pull your body down. Just breathe. You let go of any contraction. You take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, we've got one more like this. And one more out. Nice. And now last breath in. And last breath out. Good. From here, we're going to go into our last Pales rails. So we're going to start off with our Pales contraction, starting again at 70%. Start to bend the knee again just a little bit. Your body's probably more folded over now. Drive your heel down. 70%. Push. Find your hamstring. We're going to ramp it up a little bit more, 80%. Find it a little quicker this time. 90%. Go as hard as you can in 5, 4, 3, 2, and now go at 100%. Push down as hard as you can now for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails contraction. Pull your body down further. Really go as far as you can. Pull your butt back as far as you can go. Pull your torso down. Belly touches your thigh for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find your ankle and then just relax into the stretch now. Deep breath in and deep breath out. One more breath in and one more breath out. Good. Last one from here in and last breath out. And good. From there, we're going to slowly roll on up. Once again, you just shake it out. Take your time coming out of that. When you bring your legs in, just pat your knees up and down. And good. Just to counter it, since we were in a compression there, we're going to go into open up the hip flexors now. Before you finish with one more active stretch, and then it's coming back into our assessment. So from here, we're just going to roll on over. We're going to bring our left leg forward here. Okay, so we're coming into a kneeling hip flexor position. I'm going to keep my back toes tucked under and my hands are behind my hips. Now from here, I'm going to squeeze the back bum cheek. If you need padding underneath the knee, you can pop a cushion or something underneath it. Then from here, I want to squeeze my back bum cheek as tight as I can go, press my back toes into the ground, and now we push forward. But you have to, again, stay active through the back leg. So I'm pushing down into the floor, and then I'm going to propel myself forward. I'm going to push that knee as far forward as it can go as I squeeze my right hip. Keep your torso lifted and push your hands into your lower spine so you're not allowing that hyperextension of the lumbar spine again. Hold that there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back out, drive through the front leg. Then again, we're going to go back in 2 more times like that. Come back forward, come all the way down.
push your body down. This time using your hamstrings. We're holding this right hip flexor stretch. Now squeezing your right bum cheek, squeezing your right hamstring. Kick up to try and kick your own bum using your right leg, but don't let your hips change position. So you got to push forward as far as you can go. You find your hamstrings. If it's cramping, that's quite normal as well. Hold that there for 3, 2, 1. Slowly let that leg come back down. Push yourself back up. One last one, Johnny. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention you will cramp there. So maybe stay with the first variation. Everyone else, if you want to come further, come down a little bit more. You have the option to stay here, just find the hip flexor stretch, or you can go active again, squeeze the back bum cheek. Watch how the hips do not change. Kick up. Now maybe reach back. If you can reach for it, you reach for it. If not, you don't let your body change position. Open up your chest, hold there. Keep kicking into the hand. If you have your hand, hold there for 3, 2, hold it there, call 1, and then slowly let that go. Push back up and change sides. Just change the knee over. So now right leg forward, left leg behind. Move around a little bit, give yourself more space. And then again, as your right foot's on the ground, left toes tucked under, left knee on the floor. Squeeze your back bum cheek as tight as you can. Good. And then again, hands behind your lower back, press your lower spine. Where I'm pressing is I'm trying to press my tailbone back down so I can scoop my tailbone in this way, as opposed to going in like that, which is a lot of the time you see these back bending positions. So I want to tuck that under, keep this stretch here through the right hip, the left hip flexor. And then as we go down as low as we can, find that stretch, keep the bum active. So try not to lean back there, call, lean a little bit more forward, bring your tailbone forward for 3, 2, 1, and then come back up. Nice, second one, we're gonna come into the hamstring one where we're gonna use the hamstring to lift the leg up. And again, squeeze, drive forward, 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 go as low as you can. And then from here, as you squeeze your back bum cheek, you gently lift the leg up, try to kick your own bum again. So you use your hamstring, keeping the same hip position. You're still scooping your tailbone under for 3, come up higher, call 2, 1, that's it. Slowly let that come back down, push back up. Nice, and one more, Johnny's gonna try it again where he's gonna try and get that hamstring cramp. So pushing all the way down, hold that position there, squeeze your back bum cheek. Good, lift up the back foot, kick your own bum, go, 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 go. And if you're going to grab the leg without changing position, you reach for it and you start to kick the leg away from you now. Go, another cramp, hold for 3, 2, come up, call, 1, and then without changing body position, let it go. Slowly let that come back to the ground and then come back up. Nice, we're gonna come back into our seated fold again. So just do whatever you need to give yourself a little bit of wiggle time for your body here. We did the front, we did the back. When we do our cool down stretches, we're gonna hit the sides as well, because we have to remember our hips are a 3-dimensional thing, right? So we don't just do the front and back all the time. So before we do our last little bit, we're gonna come into a double pigeon. So if you got knee issues, I'm gonna give you a variation. So if you have knee issues, just tuck your right knee under and you're just gonna cross the top leg over and hug your knee into your chest. You will still feel an outer hip stretch here. If you're okay with your knees and you wanna go deeper, you bring your shin parallel to the side of your mat. You cross your top ankle over your knee. And then all I'm gonna look to do is sit up nice and tall with one hand prop behind me, the other hand on my knee. And I'm gonna gently press down to open up the outsides of my hips here. So once you're there, that's it. Yeah, Johnny, I would say hug the knee. Yeah, good. So you can follow Amelia's one and then call, you stay here. Just make sure your ankle is over the front part of your knee here. Yeah. So you should feel an outer opening, kind of up in like your TFL, attaching into the outer hip bone area. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back out of that and then change sides. So just lean back, change over to the other leg, left leg on the ground, right ankle over the top. And again, find your position. Take note of which side feels tighter. You might have one side that falls quite easily and the other one might be up here. So you might need a different variation for the other side as well. Your body's trying to tell you stuff here, so you got to take note. Stay nice and upright. Good.
Really try and just let that hip sink and let the knee slowly fall heavier towards the ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Slowly let that go. Last little active bit before we come back into our final assessment. Bringing your legs out nice and wide. We've got our last pancake. So again, if you're really, really tight through the hamstrings, the groin, or the lower back, even if you cannot sit upright here, prop your hips up, maybe sit on something. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Prop yourselves up, everyone. Keep on going. Yeah, that's good, Johnny. Nice, nice call. And good, Amelia, really good. Okay, so once we're up there, the main focus again is on the hip placement. So remember in the warm-up when I said in the cat-cow, you want to think of the hip bones pushing back and the tailbone reaches back. That's the feeling that we want right now. So as we come down into this position, no hands are being used. This is the last little bit of it. It's going to be the hardest part. So you can keep your hands on your hips if you want, or you can keep your hands onto your shoulders. To make it even harder, you keep your hands behind your head. Now, I think no one is going to be on this level right now. I'm going to say either hands on hips or hands on opposite shoulder. Okay, so let's start off over here. Once you're in this position, think of pushing your butt bone back. Okay, so as your butt pushes back, you're going to reach your torso forward. Now, look at how I'm keeping my chest lifted. I'm keeping my feet flexed, and I'm going to go down to my lowest point here where you feel that deep stretch. We're holding it to the lowest point. Now, everyone come down lower. Come down lower, come down lower. Now squeeze your butt, flex your quads, and then drive all the way back up. Okay, so now we're doing this without assistance. We're gonna go for 10 reps only, 10 reps and that's it, no second set, okay? So choose your variation. If that's okay for you, maybe you wanna stretch your arms out, or maybe you do wanna challenge and come up with your hands behind your head, you can join me here. So when you're ready, let's go. Going down, we're gonna lower down. Squeeze everything tight, chest up, arms back, chest up, 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 up. Hold, drive everything down, come back up. That's 1. I didn't count the first one. 2, 2, 3, 4. Hold and up, drive up. Good. And go back down for 3, 2, 3, 4. Hold and up. If that's still too easy and you want to go further, you bring your arms up overhead. 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold, arms are hovering, and up, and 5, 2, 3, 4. Long spine, and up. Good. And 6, 2, 3, 4. Hold, not resting, and up. And 7, 2, 3, 4. Hovering over the ground, feel the stretch, and up. Good. And 8, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, and up. 2 more. 9, 2, 3, 4. Stretch forward and up. 1 last one, and down. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Now relax down. Just let your body fold here. Find your pancake stretch, which is coming into the cool down. So forget about the form of the legs. Just allow everything to roll inwards. Forget about your butt pushing back. Just let your chest fall down. Feel your arms nice and long. Stretch them out forward to get a stretch through your spine. And then just breathe. Without holding on to anything, you understand what it feels like to let go of the tension that's happening through your joints, through your muscles, through all of your connective tissues. You just let the weight of gravity pull you back down. We're gonna go for 3 more deep breaths here. In through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. And out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. In. 2, 3, 4. And hold. And out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 1 last one coming in. 2, 3, 4. And hold. And out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. Good, this time from there, keep your legs active, fingertips only on the floor. Pull your legs straighter and start to pull yourself back up with minimal press from the hands. Good. Shake the legs back out. Then we're gonna come back into our seated forward fold again. Last little assessment here. So after all of that, you've got a lot more length through the backs of your legs. So we're gonna take a look now. In both of those assessments, we had the seated fold and the standing fold as well. So from this position, bend your knees. Wherever we were earlier, pull the body down, hands come around the feet again. Good. So now that you're here, think of shimmying your legs back. Remember, belly stays touching the thighs, chest stays lifted. Straighten your legs as much as you can now. Good. Still looking at the tips of your toes. Hold there. How does it feel? Does it feel better, worse? Feel like you've got more space? Johnny, I'd bend your knees a little bit. Keep your belly on your thighs. We're just going to hold this one here for another 3, 2, and 1. And then just relax your body down. Before we come back into our last stretch, keep a hold of your legs. This time, round your back and pull your body away from your legs as much as you can. So you anchor your hands down, you tuck your chin into your chest, and you pull your belly button away. So you're creating as much space here now so you feel a lower back stretch. That's it. Your legs might come off the ground if you're pulling quite hard. That's good. That's fine. Do what you need to feel a lower back stretch more than anything. For 5, 4, 3, good. Pull your lower back even further back, Mom. 2, and 1. Let that go. Good. Slowly come out. Shake the legs out. Bend your knees one at a time. Come up to a standing position. We're going to finish off with that forward fold stretch again. So once again, your feet are just underneath your hips, so they don't have to be touching. Then when we come over, we're going to try and bend the knees, push the hips back, find the belly to the thighs once again. Hands come back down to the floor. Once you're here, the palms are just in line with the toes. And then when you can, you start to push the legs a little straighter. Again, your belly stays touching. Once you have your straightest leg position, roll the weight forward into your tiptoes and just look between your thighs here. Just let everything hang down. Again, feel how that kind of just a little bit different to the last set. And then when you're here, just move your legs left and right, and again. And then this time, just keep your knees soft. Hug onto your opposite elbow and just ragdoll your body here. So you just slowly move your hips left and right, allowing your upper body to sway left and right. And then as we come back up, we let our head come up last. So we're going to squeeze the bum, bend the knees, and curl our spine up like we're working on our spinal mobility again. Come all the way up to a standing position. And you are all done. I'm just going to open the floor up for your Q&A now. So if you have any questions, you guys can unmute yourselves now. You can let me know how you were feeling. If it didn't feel good, if it did, you feel good. Unmute. I've just asked to unmute you all. So
I have a question.
yeah.
So the pails and rails, I understand pails is like you're contracting like against, but the rails is what?
Okay, so the rails contraction is when you think of the 2 anchor points here. When you're doing your pails contraction, this is the heel bone and this is the butt bone, right? So the heel is driving down. Now the middle portion is the knee, which is here. So the pails contraction, like you said, you understand it's about trying to close that gap. The rails contraction is trying to pull this away to stretch out the hamstring tissue here. So when that happens, this is where the body, if this is my hip bone, right? My hip bone's in the middle here, and this is my torso, and this is my leg here. When I'm doing the rails contraction, I'm actually trying to pull this back to create this motion forward. So another way to try it, if you want to try it out, is if you're actually standing up and you bring your foot maybe up onto a platform. So if I've got my couch here. So the pails contraction, again, I'm driving my heel down. Even with a straight leg, I can do it, or I can do it with a bent leg. So here I'm trying to push down and feel my hamstring work. Then the rails contraction is actually about pulling my hip back up this way.
So it's not about deepening or coming into a bent knee position. It's so much more about, watch how my hips move here. It's about that pull. Because when you start to pull the butt bone back up like we did in the spinal mobility, this here, it's like you want to peel your butt cheek up towards your lower back. And then you think about the hamstring here getting more length. But most of the time when people do hamstring exercises, even in this position here for forward fold, right? So in this position here, I can come down to the bottom, but how do I get a deeper stretch? I'm going to bend my knees and I'm actually going to pull my bum up as high as I can go. And if I were in straight legs, I could do the same thing. I still think of just, it's the pulling sensation. And sometimes it requires that weight shift forward, but ultimately it's where my butt bones are. So if my butt bones are here, I want them to come up to here. So that's that, they say it's called nutating. It's basically a rotation of the hip and your tailbone is scooping towards the back. So if you try that out in your hamstring stretches, whether it's double leg or single leg, that's the rails contraction that you're looking for. But ultimately it's more about thinking about pulling the two anchors apart. Does that make more sense? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No probs. Johnny, how are your cramps?
Like good. Is that the right range I expected?
Yeah,
It was
okay,
quite actually. I think some of the hamstring ones, it was my hips that were cramping first.
Okay, the
So,
outsides of your hips?
The outsides of my hips, yeah. So like, hamstrings were okay, but it was my hips that were going in the motion.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to know as well for everyone else, because a lot of people end up watching recordings, but people forget that when we're doing hamstring mobility, we do have to keep looking at everything, which is why I then go on to loosen up the hip flexors too. And 30 minutes is not enough to do a proper session for that, but it's long enough for you to feel a difference in just the hamstring part. And likewise,
Yeah.
if I just did spine for you guys there, you would have felt so much more limber through so many other parts of your body because your spine is connecting everything together. But for the hip mobility stuff, just getting the rotational work is probably what's going to help you more. But like I could see at the end there, when you were doing your double pigeon, you couldn't bring your legs into that cross leg position. So the more you can do that to stretch out the outsides, I think hopefully then
I know I've got. Yeah. It's my hips. I know I've got tight hips, so that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll do more hip stuff so you guys can at least do that, because that will then take away from some of the knee stuff that you have had just a long history of with all your injuries as well.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
No probs. Thanks for joining. Amelia, I know you're muted there. I don't even know if you know how to unmute it, but if you do have any questions, reminder, I had to tell mom that this is every Tuesday. So I actually don't mind how many people are doing it live. What it does is, originally I did this more for the IG live stuff, just to give people free stuff. So I've kept it as a very minimal cost, but the idea is to get people doing stuff. And for me, it's actually helping hold me accountable too, so that I actually do the proper mobility stuff that I'm preaching, because otherwise I get lazy with it as well. So I'll be teaching it regardless. So just shoot me a message, and it's always going to be on at the same time. So yeah.
My dad just said, "You're amazing."
Dean, you should join us next time. I want to see you.
He's stretching his leg.
Oh, so good. See, my mom's on the other screen there too, Dean.
Would you do this like end of the day?
Yeah, I think the mobility stuff, when you're doing your pails rails, I wouldn't do at the end of the day. It's too stimulating. But the stretches that we do at the end where we hold for longer, that's where I would probably do those more, because they help with unwinding. I had a lot more like longer stretches to do, but I get carried away with that, and I will easily go and do like an hour and a half of stretching just without realizing, because I just set a timer on. But what I try and do with you guys is I set up just like 3 to 4 longer stretches so that we can go through it properly. And then from there, you can hopefully take those 4 stretches and do it as a part of your nighttime routines as well.
Right, yeah.
And that's like last time with the shoulder one as well for you, because there's so many things that you could take out of it for your old shoulder injuries. I don't know how it's feeling now. Even just the pec stretches, because I remember when we first did our surgery, my pecs were just so tight, and it felt like that's what was causing so many of the issues. So since I started loosening my pecs up, it's helped with the issues that I feel through my shoulder. And it's still not 100%, but it's definitely better than where it was catching still. And I thought that was just the way that my shoulder was going to be from now on, but it's proven that you can do work on every little thing, and things can get better regardless of what the injury was in the beginning. So
Yeah, no, it's been feeling better. It's just this pain front, like bicep tendon.
Yeah, bicep tendon. We've also had collarbone injuries too, so that's going to add like a few more layers to the mix. But I mean,
keep going at else.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you as much as you can. So if you got questions, just give me a call.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Well, thanks guys. Time to cook dinner. Hope you guys have, oh, Happy New Year. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Woo. I will speak to you guys soon. And I'll see you in person soon. Hopefully, Cole. I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining. Have a good night.
See you, Seth. Thank you.
No problem. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.